Do you say why? We 12 are a whole. Once a collective decision is made, you must join the battle. The 3 rulers of Fingley Sea immediately came out to rebuke angrily. After all, we are a whole. Wugu ancestor also spoke. Being the only true body here, he had the most at stake. Zhu Seiwei sneered, "If I don't join the battle, what can you do to me?" I Speak ancestor watched this scene, feeling a headache as well. The I Speak camp, 12 undying beings, along with the other 26 ancestors. It seemed imposing, but precisely because the upper echelons were undying, they were very difficult to manage. Even the weakest, the 3 rulers of Fingley Sea, were quite troublesome. Compared to the 8 lords of the cultivator camp, they are evenly matched with us 12. We also have 26 ancestors. Once the war officially starts, we have the absolute advantage. We can crush them like dry weeds and rotten wood, and even occupy a wider territory. Teach the cultivator camp a lesson. Let them understand that an alliance with us, I Speak camp, must be led by us. You 2 fools, when the cultivator camp was weak, we were the leaders. But now they can even fight with the innate primordial camp, which comprises hundreds of ancestors. Would they still fear us? I haven't invaded the cultivator territory, nor sought resources. My thoughts are clear. I definitely won't join the battle. A small figure finished speaking and then disappeared directly. Gone. Piyu Chen actually left early. The 3 rulers of Fingley Sea were extremely furious. Shut up then. I Speak ancestor glanced at the 3 rulers of Fingley Sea, wanting to expel them from the I Speak camp, but because back then 12 existences from the land of eternity allied together, lacking sufficient reason, it wasn't good to expel them directly. Piyu Cheng left. I Speak ancestor scanned the surroundings. His attitude is clear. He won't join the battle. What about you all? I also won't join the battle. Zhu Seiwei said, our I Speak camp, like the innate primordial camp, needs a lot of resources to grow the life core. But the 8 lords of the cultivator camp focus on enlightenment. They don't care about resources. I don't understand why have a fallout over invading world groups. The cultivator camp has always relied on us. Now they've become powerful and started turning against us. I think it's time for a fight. The ancestors who relied on us only enjoy the resources. It's time to make them fight desperately. There were quite a few present wanting to start a war. I Speak ancestor felt quite a headache, quietly transmitted a message to Shaw Zhou. Beside him, the grey-clothed woman Shaw Zhou glanced at I Speak ancestor and looked around before speaking. This war is meaningless. I won't join. Suddenly, the whole quieted down. Shaw Zhou won't join. Shaw Zhou and Starlight Lord rank among the top 2 in strength in infinite primordial space. If Shaw Zhou doesn't join, and neither do Piyu Cheng and Zhu Seiwei, this war could be lost. The 12 undying beings, with the 3 rulers of Fingley Sea at the bottom, yet the others were getting stronger. Piyu Cheng's strength could match a cultivator lord. Hence, he dared to leave first, not giving face to anyone. Zhu Seiwei's strength could also rank in the top 30 in endless primordial space. Piyu Cheng, Zhu Seiwei, and eldest sister Shaw Zhou won't join the battle. I feel this war has no assurance. It's not suitable to start a war. I Speak ancestors' gaze swept over the surroundings. Return all previously occupied world groups to the cultivator camp. Any opinions? No opposing voices arose from the hall. They've decided to retreat. Luo Fun and others were on their way. Starlight Lord suddenly spoke. Retreated. Yuan showed a joyful expression. To be honest, the lords were still very concerned about the numerous creature worlds in their territories. Most of the 12 undying beings in the I Speak camp were belligerent. They didn't care about the lives of the lower levels at all. Zhu Seiwei and Piyu Cheng were among the few who cared about their own clans. They also worried about full-scale war affecting their own clans. During negotiations with I Speak ancestor later, follow my lead. Starlight ancestor could glimpse countless future possibilities, some of which once pushed almost certainly become reality. Okay, Yuan nodded, trusting Starlight was the right choice. Half a day later, led by Starlight Lord, the 8 lords came together to the border area of the fallen territory. On I Speak camp's side, 6 figures appeared, I Speak ancestor and 5 others came to greet them. Elder brother Yuan, don't be angry. I Speak ancestor smiled as he approached. You said to start a war after some intimidation. I barely managed to unify the internal opinions. What opinion? Yuan asked. Of course, to return the occupied territories. Ice Peak Ancestor said with a smile, "It's unnecessary for our sides to go to war. Just return them." I checked carefully. Your Ice Peak camp was quite ruthless, plundering wantonly, even devouring many source world origins. Yuan said coldly, "Now just returning the territories, and you think it's enough?" Ice Peak Ancestor slightly frowned, feeling a bit unhappy. Not going to war had his secret encouragement. But he, Ice Peak Ancestor, also cared about face. "What do you want?" Ice Peak Ancestor looked at Yuan. "I don't ask you to compensate much. Return all resources plundered in the cultivated territory." Yuan said, "Then the matter is settled. Otherwise, whoever robbed, I will rob back double." Ice Peak Ancestor nodded expressionlessly. "I can promise you." Ice Peak. Beside him, Wugu Ancestor and the three rulers of Fingli Sea were somewhat anxious. They had seized the most. Should they return it? I said, "I promised." Ice Peak Ancestor glanced at them. "Whoever is unwilling, negotiate with the cultivator camp yourself." Wugu Ancestor and the three rulers of Fingli Sea could only endure. Just them alone. Facing 8 cultivator lords, they would be completely torn apart. Elder Brother Yuan. Ice Peak Ancestor looked at Yuan, smiling slightly. "Your cultivator camp has changed." At least in facing Ice Peak Ancestor, the attitude had become much tougher than before. "I also have to report to the other 7 lords." Yuan looked at Ice Peak Ancestor. "Believe Ice Peak you can also understand." "Understand?" Ice Peak Ancestor nodded. The two looked at each other. Both understood that some things had changed. Soon, everyone from Ice Peak camp left, and Wugu Ancestor, along with the 3 rulers of Fingli Sea, would need to return all plundered resources shortly. Invading our cultivated territory, making them retreat and return the plundered resources, is already quite lenient. Jin said coldly, "According to my temper, whatever they looted, we should counter-loot 10 times. Our strength is still insufficient." Starlight spoke, "Forcing them to return the plunder is already the maximum extent. Asking for more. With Ice Peak's arrogance, they would certainly go to war. If he decides to go to war, sure Joe will definitely join." Luo Feng had just become a lord and hadn't interacted much with Ice Peak camp, only silently watching all this. No matter what, the cultivated territory of 3,600 world groups has been completely recovered. Yuan showed a smile, looking at Luo Feng by his side. Luckily Luo Feng broke through to become a new lord, otherwise, who knows what would happen to the cultivated territory. The other lords also felt good at the moment. Until now, this war could be considered completely victorious,